I'm so honored and happy to be back with another Flow State Book Club or Flow Book Club episode. This month, we're all about this book called Grit, okay, by Angela Duckworth, okay? Wah, wah. Every time I say her last name, there's gonna be a wah, wah. Okay, duck noises. Let's get started.
I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumed Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a Flow State coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today we're doing a little bit of a review, a breakdown of Angela Duckworth's chapter 1 and 2, okay? Now it's really interesting because I'm a part of IMC Nation and we have a process called the Beast, which is so interesting because she starts talking about like going to the barracks at this place called West Point. So waking up, revile formation, physical training, personal maintenance, breakfast, training classes, lunch, training classes, organized athletics, personal maintenance, dinner, training classes, commander's times, and something called TAPS. I think that's like a song or something, right? So they have a routine. We have a routine, okay? In my process, in my brotherhood as well. So one cadet's description of the Beast is you're challenged in a variety of ways in every developmental area, mentally, physically, militarily, and socially. The system will find your weakness, but that's the point. West Point toughens you, okay? So immediately we start out understanding that grit has something to do with this mental toughness aspect, okay? This military psychologist, Mike, said it was never give up attitude. I'm just reading out some of the parts I've underlined. Some people are great when things are going well, but they fall apart when things aren't. The high achievers described in these interviews really stuck it out, okay? So it's about that resilience, right? In some, no matter the domain, the highly successful had a ferocious determination that played out in two ways. First, these exemplars were unusually resilient and hardworking. Second, they knew in a very deep way what it was they wanted. Okay? What do you want? You have to have a very deep way of knowing what you want. They not only had determination, but they had direction, somewhere to look forward to, okay? It was a combination of passion and perseverance. This is what is said on the title. It's Why Passion and Resilience Are the Secrets to Success. So passion is brought up here again. Passion and perseverance. So passion is kind of self-directed in a sense, right? You have your passion, but purpose would be more like, in a sense, outside of you, out of body. I would say that perseverance is this ability almost closely linked to resilience, though I think they are different. And she does mention that there is a grit scale. I'm sure we're going to come across that, and I'm going to test you guys to see how much you are on the grit scale. It's going to be fun. So in the last day of the Beast, grit turned out to be the reliable predictor for who made it through and who did not, right? Some people just had more grittiness. The grittier adults were likely to get further in formal schooling, like MBAs, PhDs, MDs, JDs, right? And it was interesting because they saw that two-year colleges, would be slightly more successful than four-year colleges. That's also because the dropout rates at community colleges can be as high as 80%. So that's why the odds are especially gritty. So what do we know from this first part? I mean, grit is a predictor of success, right? This is what guided her future work. The statement is, our potential is one thing, what we do with it is quite another. Then they bring up talent. I think talent is a very interesting topic. It's a very controversial topic, I'd say, too, because what really is talent, right? Are we judging talent or intelligence, or what even is that, right? Like, there's so many nuances and complexities associated with this. So this guy, right, David is given as an example of this really like astute, very clever student, right? And he was so clever that they took him to another, almost an accelerator class, where he found it more difficult to do some of the subjects. But what he did say, which I found was very interesting, is I mean, sometimes I got a B and not an A, you know? And how did you deal with that, right? I asked, so Angela probably asked, right? Miss Duckworth. I did feel bad, I did, but I didn't dwell on it. I knew it was done. I knew I had to focus on what to do next. This move on it to itness and the stick to itness. So if it's not fulfilling your goal here, let's move on. Let's not be stuck there, right? I think this is an element of grit, because a lot of people, they hold on to things, hold on to grudges, hold on to problems, hold on to ideas, right? As a person with grit, you got to have that momentum and that perseverance, like she said, the passion and the perseverance together to actually move forward. Don't dwell on it. Good, thank you. He's an engineer nowadays at an aerospace corporation. He was the boy not ready for math classes. Now he's a rocket scientist. I mean, yo do the math, okay? Yo do the math. Then it starts talking about Galton and his bromance with Darwin, okay? Now, Galton was a child prodigy. By 4, he could read and write. By 6, he knew Latin and long division, could recite passages from Shakespeare by heart, okay? All right, this is just a Galton flex in the beginning, right? And then it goes into, what are the outliers like? The outliers, they demonstrate unusual ability in combination with exceptional zeal and the capacity for hard labor. Okay? The capacity for hard labor, like they can push through, okay? He was certainly intelligent, Darwin, but his insights didn't come to him in lightning flashes. He was a plodder, okay? As they called him. Not a plotter, but a plodder. Perhaps he was too humble. He had no problem praising his power of observation, and which applied to the understandings of the law of nature and noticing things. So he said, I'm superior to the common run of men in noticing things, okay, which easily escape attention, and in observing them carefully. He attributes his grit to observation. That's so cool, Darwin. Mr. Darwin. You know, he doesn't engage in semi-willful forgetting. I'll think of this later on. But instead, he keeps all the questions alive at the back of his mind, ready to be retrieved when a relevant bit of data presented itself. Okay, so he keeps all of these ideas and thought experiments running in the back of his mind, okay? That's the way that this guy worked in his brain. His subconscious was just kind of running these, right, ideas, patterns. And the power of observation, he was probably using his eyes and ears as a recorder, right, to store it up into his brain. And then the right moment, he'd tap into flow state, right? Darwin and flow state, I'll title this. William James kind of has a sad message for us. He said, compared with what we ought to be, we are only half awake. Our fires are damped, our drafts are checked. We're making use of only a small part of our possible mental and physical resources. I agree with you, brother. We can be doing a lot better, but hey, let's acknowledge and celebrate like how far we've come already. You know what I mean? Like, that's important too. All right, Mr. James. I know you're a legend in your field, but I just got something to say to you, man. Let's just embrace and celebrate how far we've come, right? As a culture, as our own lives have improved. We could objectively look at the world and think, oh, nothing has improved, nothing has gotten better. No, actually, we're way better off than a lot of the medieval times, and you know, I really believe that. We have so much convenience nowadays, okay? Could be a curse and a blessing. So let's go. The naturalness bias is a hidden prejudice against those who've achieved what they want to because they worked hard for it, and a hidden preference for those who arrived at their place because they're naturally talented. So we hold a bias towards naturally talented people, okay? What happens when a student is especially talented? We begin to lavish extra attention on them and hold them to higher expectations, and this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the student Chia was asked, you know, why does she practice piano? Does her parents make her, you know, practice piano? It sounds like an Asian kid problem, right? All right, Sophie, neighbors are here. Please perform. Pictured myself on stage in front of a crowded audience. I imagined them clapping. So she used visualization actually, right? Talent is the sum of a person's abilities. Here goes the list. Her intrinsic gifts, skills, knowledge, experience, intelligence, judgment, attitude, character, and drive. I mean, gosh darn it, that's a long list. That's a really good question, right? What do we really mean by talent? I mean, how would you guys describe it, right? I want you to leave a comment, actually, okay, on this video. What do you mean by talent? Okay, how do you define, personally, I'm not looking for you to go on Wikipedia and type in the definition there. No, what is your personal definition of talent? I want to know. And then she, ends this interview in a way where she's like, I would tell you, but you can just call someone who actually knows. Really the personality. And then, of course, Malcolm Gladwell, the writer of Outliers, but also he critiqued in The War for Talent. The talent mindset was the approach to a management advocated by McKinsey. Okay, America's most innovative company by Fortune magazine, 6 years in a row. Okay, by Mrs. Duckworth's view, we understand that by shining our spotlight on talent, we risk leaving everything else in the shadows. We inadvertently send the message that these other factors, including grit, doesn't really matter as much as they do. Okay, take the story of Scott Barry Kaufman. Okay. This is a great author, by the way. He wrote the book Transcend. I love that book, man. If you guys have ever got a chance to look into that, really great book. We won't do it. Maybe we'll do it for our book club. Not sure. Might be a next month thing. Okay. We'll vote on it. Okay. He said meeting a teacher who believed in his potential was a critical turning point. Okay. Here we go, Scott. Okay. Meeting of the mentor on your hero's journey. Right? Okay. I had this grit, Scott recalls. I said, I'm going to do it. I don't care. I'm going to find a way to study what I want to study. That's how I imagined he'd say it. I don't care. I'm going to do it, man. I don't care. So stories of talent are great. Tests of talent kind of stink. And so focus on talent distracts us from something else, which is at least as important, which is effort. So we're going to go into the next chapters soon in one of these videos. So follow along, read fast, follow along, read with me. Let's get this done. We got this. Upward Spiral Gang. Have any questions? Leave them in the comments. You already know. Shoot me a DM if you want to work with me one-on-one. Let's get it. May you never be the same again. Stay legendary. Hit that subscribe button if you're new.